Okay, folks, buckle up, because today we're going deep on something really cool,
Yeah.
like way up high above us. We're
Wow.
talking satellites,
Oh, cool.
but not just any satellites. We're diving into the whole world of modular and adaptable satellites. Yeah, so
Nice.
basically we've got this awesome search materials, an excerpt from The Evolution of Satellites, Modularity and Adaptability as the Future of Space.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? And we're going to break it down for you, like explain what it all means so you can really get the big picture.
Okay.
Because this is not just about, like some new tech gadget or something.
Yeah.
This is about like a whole new future where space is like super accessible and adaptable. Like it's constantly changing to meet all of our needs down here on Earth.
Cool.
Pretty wild, huh?
Definitely.
So, okay, before we like blast off into the future of space and all that,
Right.
let's rewind a little bit, like take a quick trip back in time.
Okay.
Back to, like Sputnik, that little satellite that basically kickstarted the whole space race thing.
Oh, yeah. Sputnik 1 back in 1957.
Exactly, 1957.
Wow.
Back then, those early satellites, they were kind of like, like those old disposable cameras. You use them once, and then that's it. They're basically obsolete, like space junk.
Makes sense.
But why, though? Like, what happened that made us move away from, that kind of model?
Well, you see those early satellites, they were like really limited. Each one was like purpose built for just one specific thing. So, once it was up there in orbit, that was pretty much it. Like no upgrades, no repairs, no second chances, nothing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the 1990s and the early 2000s, it became pretty obvious that we needed something way more flexible, something more sustainable.
Okay, so that brings us to, like the big game changer, the whole idea of modular and adaptable satellites. So
Yeah.
can you break it down for us? Like what exactly makes them so different from those old school satellites?
All right, so picture this, like those Lego blocks.
Yeah.
It's like building with Legos. You've got this core structure, right? We call it the bus. And then you can attach all these different payloads depending on what you want the satellite to do, like what its mission is.
Oh, cool.
So let's say you need to, observe the Earth, what's happening down here. You just snap on a high-resolution camera to the bus.
Cool. Yeah.
Or if you want to study like distant galaxies, way out there, then you attach a powerful telescope. It's that simple.
Wow, that's so cool.
It is, right?
So it's like you can customize these satellites for like any mission, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's incredible.
And it gets even better because,
There's more.
oh yeah, the adaptable part is where things get really mind-blowing.
Okay, tell me more.
So we're not just talking about customizing them before launch, like picking and choosing payloads.
Right.
We can actually modify these satellites after they're already up there in orbit.
What, really?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
Adaptability means we can make changes on the fly, like do software updates, hardware upgrades, even add entirely new instruments while the satellite is still doing its thing up there.
Whoa. So, like, if a satellite's communication system gets outdated, we can just swap it out for a newer, better one without having to bring the whole satellite back down to Earth.
Exactly.
Right.
Or imagine adding a new Earth observation instrument to a satellite that was originally designed to study deep space. That's the kind of flexibility we're talking about.
That's like having a Swiss Army knife in space.
Yeah, something like that.
But, okay, this all sounds super complex.
Yeah.
So how does it actually work in practice? Like, are we sending astronauts up there to do repairs?
Not astronauts exactly, but robots.
Robots.
Yeah, their missions, like NASA's Restore-L, you might have heard of it.
Maybe.
It's already proven that robotic satellite servicing is a real thing, like it's actually doable.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is.
But, I mean, all this complexity, it's got to come with some challenges, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, what are some of the hurdles that engineers are facing, when it comes to designing and building these modular satellites?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is making sure that all these different modular components, they all work together perfectly.
Right, because you don't want a loose connection causing a major system failure,
Yeah.
Hundreds of miles above Earth.
Exactly. That's the last thing we want.
And I imagine weight is a big issue too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Weight is a huge factor. We need to keep these designs as lightweight as possible, for efficient launches.
That makes sense because every extra pound costs a lot of fuel to get up into orbit.
Exactly. And another thing is, getting components from different manufacturers to all play nicely together, that's not always easy.
Yeah, I bet like trying to get a Samsung phone to work seamlessly with an Apple Watch.
Yeah, kind of like that standardization is crucial. We need to make sure that all these components can talk to each other and work together without any hiccups, regardless of who built them.
Right, like some kind of universal language for space tech.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've established that modular satellites are pretty amazing.
For sure.
But let's talk about the real-world advantages. Like how does this technology actually benefit us down here on Earth?
Well, first off, we're talking about significantly longer lifespans for satellites,
Okay.
which is a huge win for sustainability. It helps us tackle the growing problem of space debris, all that junk floating around up there.
Oh, yeah, that's a big issue.
It is.
Right.
And by extending the life of satellites and even allowing for in-space repairs, we can dramatically reduce the amount of, space junk orbiting Earth.
That's crucial, right? Like for ensuring safe access to space for future generations.
Absolutely.
And what about the missions themselves? How does modularity impact what we can actually do with these satellites?
Well, it makes missions incredibly flexible. Think about it. You could have a satellite that can switch its focus from monitoring climate change to tracking wildfires, all with a simple software update.
Wow, so like a multi-purpose satellite that can adapt to different needs.
Exactly. It means we can respond to evolving needs,
Yeah.
like natural disasters or whatever, and get the most out of our investments in space.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm ready. Paint me a picture of the future. What does this like modular, adaptable space world actually look like?
Okay, so imagine this constellations of satellites up there, all interconnected, working together like a giant team, and they're constantly evolving, adapting to new missions, staying at the cutting edge of technology.
Wow.
It's going to revolutionize everything from scientific discovery to global communication. You know how annoying it is when your internet connection is slow?
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
Well, imagine being able to download gigabytes of data from space in the blink of an eye. That's the kind of revolution we're talking about here.
That sounds incredible.
It is. It's going to change everything.
Wow, it's mind-blowing to think that we're like on the verge of such a transformative era in space exploration.
Definitely.
Okay, so for everyone listening out there, what does all this mean for you? How will this new era of modular satellites change things down here on Earth? Will it lead to, faster scientific breakthroughs, better communication, maybe even make space tourism more accessible?
Who knows?
I guess we'll have to wait and see, but what are your thoughts? Let us know.
Right. Hit us up on social media.
Yeah. And one thing's for sure, modularity and adaptability, they're not just buzzwords anymore. They're like the keys to unlocking a more sustainable, a more versatile, and honestly, a much more exciting future in space.
Couldn't agree more.
All right. That's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Catch you next time.
Bye.